We are in an event center or a conference room that is adjacent to where we're going to explore and ask for some information and ask some questions this morning. So we're Christians, and as we travel the world, we're constantly looking for chapels or church services or church buildings where we can attend church, hear the word of God in English. But even though when we go to different countries, it's not that hard to find people who speak English, because outside of the US, they teach people multiple languages, which include English. It's very difficult to actually figure out and find a church service in English. But we're here in the Philippines, and English is one of the main languages spoken. So we went over to Power Plant Mall, and to get into the mall, it was not that hard, but we had to go up one set of escalators that only took us to the third floor. From there, we had to walk a couple of minutes to find another set of escalators. We went up from the third floor to the fourth floor, no problem with the escalator, but the escalator to the fifth floor was out of order. So we had to hike up the one flight of escalators, just like their stairs. That's not really a big deal. We hike all the time, we walk all the time, but you gotta really wanna go to this place. So as we got to the top, we heard English, a mass service in English, and it's about 12:20 right now. So I don't know if the service started at 12 or 12:15. But we walked over here from our apartment in Manila, and it only took us about 15 minutes to get here, which is going to be ideal if we wanna go to a church service. We don't really wanna take a Grab or have to walk an hour or so. So a 15-minute walk to church is pretty much perfect. So when we got to the top, we heard the service, the mass in English, and also saw a sign. And on that sign, it listed a few different church service options. So we know that there's going to be church on Christmas Eve and Christmas. We went to the main chapel or church or cathedral on the other side of the river from Makati in Manila, where we're living, and they said they didn't have any English services on Christmas Eve or Christmas. Everything would just be in Filipino, so that'd be a little bit more difficult. But as we got here, we heard the English, and it says that there's a Christmas Eve Mass at 5 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. and a Christmas Mass on Christmas Day, 2:30 p.m., 4 p.m., and 5:30 p.m. So it seems like things are really coming together. Now we just want to go and find someone we can talk to, maybe in an office somewhere, or we might have to wait until after Mass is done to make sure that these services are in English too, so we can finally have a Christmas Eve or Christmas service in person in English while we're traveling. So we're very excited. Let's see if we can find someone to talk to. Well, wouldn't you know that we went to go check on the office hours and to see if there was an English Mass on a Monday, the one day of the week that there are no office hours. But the good news is that there is a daily Mass, and it was happening as we went up there to go check on it. So we asked the security guard outside of the entrance of the worship hall what time or how long the service was, and she said the service is only about an hour. So we used that time to go downstairs, grab some food, and now we're going up. Now that we can't talk to anyone for office hours, we're gonna have to talk to a priest or deacon or something of that nature to see what the office hours are. So I think we're already up here, and it appears to be like things are closed, and I was kind of worried about that the service wasn't actually a full hour, and by the time the hour was done, there'd be nobody here. But service is definitely over. So let's see if we can find someone to talk to about which services on Christmas Eve and Christmas are in English. All right, so the chapel is right there. It's clearly over. There's a cleaning lady, so let's ask her if she knows. Do you know which services, like Christmas Eve and Christmas, are in English? Or is there someone we can ask? Or are all the services in English? This is the one day there's no office hours, so we couldn't find anybody. this open door and this sign says otherwise. So. Oh, hello. Hello. Hi. We were just wondering for the Christmas service, Christmas Eve and Christmas, are they all the services in English, or just some of them? Okay.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. We came up and we heard the 12 o'clock mass in English. We're like, yes, we can go to church service. So it's.
The priest say mostly in English.
He says it in both, but mostly in English. Perfect. Okay, great. So we'll come by either Christmas Eve or Christmas for mass. Perfect.
Mass are 5 p.m. and 6:30 p.m.
For Christmas Eve.
For 24 and 31st.
20, okay, how about on 25?
25 with only 3 masses.
So 2,
2:30, 4, and 5:30.
Perfect. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Salamat.
Merry Christmas.
See you.
Merry Christmas. God bless.
Salamat po.
You saved the day. Thank you so much. All right, and then let's just give you guys a little peek in here. People are praying, so I'm not going to yell or anything like that. But look how beautiful this chapel is. I'm also not going to go with my backwards hat, don't worry. So I took off my hat and walked around inside of the chapel a little bit, and it's gorgeous. I don't know who that was, but there was someone in the office, even though they weren't supposed to be, but we figured maybe right after service they'd have to go in the office to do a little bit of something. So they were there, and they said that all of the masses are in English. He said Tagalog. So a little bit of a mixture, kind of like if we were going in Miami, it'd be in Spanglish. So that sounds good to us. I think it's going to be enough for us to at least understand what's going on and get the gist of it. So we're really excited to come back either Christmas Eve or for Christmas service. And they had a nativity scene or a nativity set, which is very rare. I think I've only seen one the entire time we've been walking around the streets here in Manila. And it's cool because the baby Jesus is not there because he's not born yet, because it's not Christmas. So that's always a nice little touch when you go into a service. So we're excited. We actually accomplished what we would look to accomplish today, and we had a win here in Manila, and we're looking forward to going to church, going to Christmas Mass in a couple of days. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is WITY Travels. What could possibly be next?